Hello everybody, welcome to the I Am IT YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz and as ever I am the IT Geek. Welcome back to another episode in my SC200 Microsoft Security Operations Analyst exam series. So we have finished 2 learning paths so far, learning path 1 and learning path 2, and we are on to learning path 3 now. So like I said, doing it a bit differently this time, not doing modules so to speak, going through like the Microsoft learning paths. So far in the previous sort of series, we've kind of done an introduction into a few of the different sort of security services, especially on Microsoft 365 Defender, and now we're going to move on to Microsoft Defender for Cloud and Sentinel as well. So let's get straight into the episode. So as normal, they are obviously my socials. I'll put them in the description as well, in case you want to follow that. So there's my Twitter, my LinkedIn and stuff like that. So as I said, we are starting learning path 3 today in this episode. So in this learning path, we are going to cover plan for cloud workload protections using Microsoft Defender for Cloud, as I mentioned. And Microsoft Defender for Cloud is obviously named quite almost the same as Defender 365 or Microsoft 365 Defender, should I say? But Defender for Cloud is more for the IaaS and PaaS services, so it's kind of the main difference. And next, we'll talk about connecting Azure assets to Microsoft Defender for Cloud. We'll also cover connect non-Azure assets to Microsoft Defender for Cloud, so like non-Microsoft Cloud basically, so AWS, Google Cloud, on-premises, stuff like that. We'll then talk about managing cloud security posture management. Then move on to talking about workload protections in Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And finally, we'll finish off with remediating security alerts using Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So these are the sort of topics we're going to talk about. So this learning path is for mitigating threats using Microsoft Defender for Cloud. That's kind of the topic, and these are going to be covered over, I think it's about 3 episodes in this learning path. So to start this episode, we are going to start off by talking about planning for cloud workload protections using Microsoft Defender for Cloud. Let's talk about connecting Azure assets to Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and then we'll do a demo of enabling Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So in my turn, I've actually already enabled it, but because obviously I've done other sort of stuff with it and testing, but I'll show you kind of where you can enable and disable the certain features of it. So let's get started with talking about planning for cloud workload protections using Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So what is Microsoft Defender for Cloud? First of all, I suppose we need to ask. So this is again a really cool, interesting image that I got from Microsoft Learn. Big shout out to Microsoft Learn, thank you. So a development security operations or DevSecOps sort of solution. And it unifies security management at the sort of code level across multi-cloud. And as we can see, we've got AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, and on-premises at the bottom of that sort of diagram there. And it's a cloud security posture, which is a CSPM solution, and that has sort of surface actions that you can take to prevent breaches. It's also got a sort of cloud workload protection platform aspect of it, so that's a CWPP. This has specific protections for servers, containers, storage, databases, and those other sort of workloads. So that's sort of IaaS and PaaS area that I spoke about. So let's talk about connecting to Azure assets to Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So let's explore and manage resources for a second. Let's talk about that sort of asset inventory. And obviously we're going to see this in the demo in a little bit. But in here we've got sort of an inventory summary, and that allows us to see sort of the total resources, unhealthy resources, anything that's unmonitored, and also anything that's unregistered subscriptions, because obviously you've got to register your subscription with Defender for Cloud. And then it shows us the status for each resource as well, and that's done through like an agent sort of monitoring and a Microsoft Defender for Cloud recommendations as well on top of that you get. And again, I'm going to show that in the demo shortly. So let's talk about manually installing Log Analytics Agent on Azure VM. So that whole process is to first of all disable auto provisioning. Step 2 is to optionally you can create a workspace, which I'd recommend. Step 3 is then to enable Microsoft Defender for Cloud on the workspace on which you're going to be installing those Log Analytics agents. And step 4 is to deploy the agents on new VMs using that resource manager template and then install Log Analytics Agent. And the final 5th step is to deploy agents on your existing VMs. So a bit of a quick theory there. Again, I'm trying to do trying to cover the key points within in the areas, different learning paths. And again, try and focus a bit more on the demos. So let's move over to the portal. But we are in the demo now. We're in the Microsoft Trend for Cloud portal, as you can see. And again, if you're in the Azure portal, you can just type in Defender. I seem to type in Offender, and then it gets you to them. You can select on the Microsoft Trend for Cloud service. As I mentioned, I've already got it enabled on my subscription. But if you've got additional subscriptions, you can always enable it within that. This is a sort of overview page here, and it gives you an idea of your security posture. Mine is showing me, how many. I've actually got 16 unassigned recommendations. I've got no view recommendations. I've got no attack path. Because I've got, again, I've only got my Azure tenancy. I've only got an Azure tenancy. I don't have AWS and GCP. It gives me a secure score of 52%. It tells me around regulatory compliance. So I've got 45 of 36 pass controls, which isn't too bad really. Let's go down workload protection. I've got 100% fully protected. I've got 4 resources that are protected. It says I've got 1 unmonitored VM. So again, it gives you a bit of an overview of your security posture. I'll go into active recommendations in a minute. What I want to talk about is the sort of environment settings, and this is where, excuse me, you can actually drill down and choose what settings you have enabled and what services. And from here, again, you can add an environment as well. So if you want to add an Amazon Web Services or a Google Cloud Platform, we're going to be doing this in one of the labs later on, so don't want to ruin it too much. But if we dig down here, so this tells me that I've got 11 out of 15 plans that are protected. So let's actually click on that. And then this actually shows me the Defender. You can actually see the Defender for plans now. So here I've got the foundational CSPM, which is free. I've got Defender CSPM, which is the paid one for $5 billable resource per month. That's off at the moment because I'm not using that. Then we'll go on the CWP, so the cloud workload protection. This is where I'm protecting my virtual machines and my actual resources specifically. I've got the servers were enabled partially because again I've got a couple of I've got 3 servers. I've got the app service one because I've got an app service in here as well. I've got the database one on, but really I don't really need that because I shouldn't really have any databases. It says it's protecting one instance, so I'll be interested to see which instance that is. But I'm not really protecting anything in there. So the storage one I've got on, and then I've got the containers one off because I'm not really got any containers. Kubernetes, I'm not sure why I've got that one on. I can turn that one off. Key Vault, I've got a Key Vault that I want to protect, so I'll leave that one on. I'll leave a resource manager on, and I've got the API one turned off. For me, I don't think I have any databases, not that I know of anyway, so I'm going to actually turn that one off. It says I've got a SQL database, but I don't. I know I don't. And then you can just save that. I give you a bit of a warning. You show you want to, so technically I'm downgrading my service here. And then that'll save as well. So again, you can pick and choose what you want to protect. It all depends on what services you have. If you've not got that service, I've not got like Kubernetes as a SQL database and stuff like that, I'm not going to protect them because it's wasting money. You can go into settings and monitoring as well and choose sort of, what components you want to enable or disable here. Again, because I've not really got certain things I've not got here, which I've got turned off. So, the Kubernetes stuff, I don't have any of that, so I've got that turned off. So again, for environmental settings, you can decide what to turn off and what to turn on. So yeah, that's just quite what we wanted to show within the demo. There's loads more that we're going to be looking at in the later episodes. It's absolutely sweltering in the UK at the moment. It's great. It's fact summer's ending, but it's ending well. So I was going to record this during the day, but as you can see, it's night time behind me, and it's still really warm. But I said I'm enjoying doing this series. The feedback's been amazing. Do let me know if you're following it with me. I'm putting a link as well to there's sort of, again, this resource is great for you to use to help you learn, but I feel like I'm a big advocate of using practice test papers. Obviously not the ones where they're almost dumb, not dumps, but there's actually legitimate ones like Measure Up. Now Measure Up they're a Microsoft partner, they're a legit sort of company that do sort of practice exams and practice questions, and they've got a mad sale on at the moment, so I'll put the link of that in the description below, and I highly recommend investing in that, because again, it's only going to help you pass, it's going to help you study, it's going to help you practice, understand whereabouts you are in your preparation. So yeah, definitely use, try and use MeasureUp if you can as a resource, as well as sort of these sort of training videos on Microsoft Learn. And I'm going to put in all the links to the GitHub Labs in the description. I highly recommend you use those. So this was first episode within Learning Path 3. We've got 2 more in this learning path before we move on to Learning Path 4. So thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.